Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George, or all George. So, happy Monday. Today's December 30th. We have 2 more days of December. And what is Bitcoin and crypto going to do? Well, we're not off to a good start today, but I am here to say that Bitcoin and crypto is approaching its most bullish phase as we enter 2025. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what to expect today and tomorrow. Are we going to see that reversal come up? And why are we entering the most bullish phase? Let's discuss all these things and more. All right, let's do it. Welcome, guys. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. We are kicking off today. Well, Wall Street is not looking good today. Looks like Wall Street may sell off a little bit more today as we enter tomorrow, right? As we enter the last day of December. Right now, Dow is kicking off minus 500, NASDAQ minus 300. Like I said yesterday, hopefully you guys had a chance to watch my Sunday walk video. It does seem like Wall Street right now, again, a lot of fund managers, they may be doing their thing, rebalancing, tax harvesting, getting ready for 2025. And that may be, what we're seeing right now, right? With a lot of the red, a lot of the sell-offs. But you know what? We do see a lot of that. We do see a lot of that end of the year. And then, the new year starts and then boom, things start flipping around right away, right? And that may be what's going on with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin right now, we're starting out the day a little bit lower than yesterday, unfortunately. We're around 92.6. However, we have seen this point many times over the last few weeks. We have seen this point, not a new low or anything like that. We have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you go back December, we've seen many points like this before. But a point I did want to stress, Robbie. Thank you for that super chat. We could talk about that in Q&A. One point I did want to stress again, and I did stress this in my Sunday walk video yesterday, and I guess I'll stress it again since I'm showing the chart already, is how good we had it, the first 2 weeks of December, right? I think it's good to remind ourselves that even though the last week and a half, you could say 2 weeks, maybe not so good since this top right here, December 17th to now. So it is approximately 13 days, less than 2 weeks, where you could argue we have come down or we've been going sideways around this 92, 94,000 mark. Let's not forget that the first 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, it was absolutely awesome. And we started December around the same mark. And let's not discount November, and let's not discount October, and let's not discount September and all the times before. So I know that some people are feeling not so good right now, feeling the pressure, feeling that this correction seems like it's taking all the fun away from all the gains that we've had. But zoom out a little bit and realize that we've only been in this little correction for the last 2 weeks, not even, and it certainly did not take away from the last 3 months of gains that we had, right? So when in doubt, zoom out a little bit, okay? But again, that does not mean we are going to somehow stop this bull run. That does not mean that this bull run is over. No. In fact, we got a lot to look forward to. And I totally forgot about this. And this is going to start actually really soon in 2025. The FTX repayment, which is absolutely huge, will start January 3rd. This is 3 days after the new year. We got $16 billion. This isn't stable coins, by the way. Okay. This is not giving back Bitcoin or ETH and, you know, like Mt. Gox. You know, a lot of people, Mt. Gox FUD is still out there. They're still giving back Bitcoin and stuff. So whenever you have like one of these payments to creditors, right, like from a bankrupt exchange, a lot of people are always afraid, well, people that get it back will just sell off, right? But in this case, no, because FTX is actually, they already sold off everything. They're giving back people what they owe plus interest in stablecoins. So what do you think crypto people are going to do with a $16 billion worth of stables, right? So that's coming January 13th. Doesn't mean that the entire amount is given out, but from what I've told, like half of that is given out starting January 3rd, and then half of it is given out like starting March. So, you know, within the next however many days. And then I think there's a little bit more to the institutions after that, but a lot of it will be starting January 3rd, which is, of course, a really good thing. We're talking about billions given back to retail investors. So you got to figure most of these crypto people will probably be using it to DCA, especially at these prices, right? So that's pretty good. That's coming up in the new year. And of course, you still have the big Bitcoin bulls like Saylor that will forever be buying more and more and more Bitcoin. I talked about this yesterday, and he did buy more. And this time, not at top, although it's still at top compared to today's price. Saylor did buy more Bitcoin, a little bit less than usual, but still another 2,100 Bitcoin, 209 million and 97,000 each. So now MicroStrategy holds 446,000 Bitcoin. Again, this is staggering. Okay, there's no other way to put it. He's been selling off and leveraging MicroStrategy in a big way. In the last 2 months, have acquired over 200,000 Bitcoin. And it's a little bit concerning, especially for MicroStrategy shareholders, because what is this doing to MicroStrategy shares? But you know what? Saylor believes Bitcoin is going to have a huge year in 2025, which is why he's doing this. But of course, a huge year the year after that, the year after that, and every year after that, because he believes Bitcoin is not going to stop because it's a scarce asset, right? And I do believe in that. So the big bulls are not going to stop. BlackRock is not going to stop. The ETFs are not going to stop, and we're only getting more, right? And outside of these institutions, we got a lot more coming in 2025 in terms of buyers. We talk a lot about the strategic reserve that's coming in the US. That's almost a guarantee at this point. We hear about a lot of other countries that's also following. Now we got Hong Kong, a legislator in Hong Kong proposing adding Bitcoin to their national reserve, right? We got a former France minister saying that the ECB and the German central bank should do that as well, even though Germany had 30,000 Bitcoin that they had, but they had to sell off because some archaic law, right? They already had it, but they decided to sell it. But we got so many other countries that are now talking about it. This is considered a form of FOMO, even with countries, because now they're anticipating what the U.S. is going to do, and all these legislators and Congress people or whatever, parliament members, they're all talking about the same thing. They're like, well, the U.S. go do it, maybe we should do it. So even countries are starting to FOMO in, right? So you can't discount that. And we have states talking about it too. Texas is talking about it, and I forgot what other state was talking about it. Even states are prepared to add Bitcoin to their balance sheet. So, bottom line is, yeah, this is not the end of the bull run. Whatever we're seeing right now, no. The little correction that we're going through, the last 2 weeks of weakness, no. We are nowhere close to the end of the bull run. So anyone that is feeling it, just know that this is perfectly normal, okay? Especially with what Wall Street is going through right now. You could just look at the broader market. It's not like the broader market, it's not like the stock market is like rallying and Bitcoin's going down. No, the broader market is selling off too. That gives you a pretty good clue into what Wall Street is doing. And here's something else that gives you a clue, okay? The drawdowns of all the previous cycles and bull runs for Bitcoin. You can't see it, but the black one is the one that we're going through right now, the one we're currently in. And you look at the very first one, the second one, third one, and the fourth one, and the current one right now. Some of the drawdowns before, guys, we're talking about even bull runs. We're talking about 40%, 35%, 30% drawdowns. In the bull run, in the parabolic phase, okay? The worst, the nastiest drawdown we had so far in this bull run is like half of what we've seen in previous bull runs. And recently, especially the one that we're going through right now, it doesn't even really register compared to some of the ones we had before. So again, there may be some that are new to this space. There may be some that just like to spread misery in the comments and live chat, right? Because that's just because they haven't lived through it. Anyone that have lived through some of the previous runs, or not even the previous runs, that's been through the last few months, just look at where Bitcoin was in October versus now, right? You don't even have to live through previous cycles. Just look at where Bitcoin was in October. Look at where Bitcoin was in November. And then look at where it is now. That's all you have to do. Just look at it a month ago or 2 months ago, right? You don't even have to look at what happened to Bitcoin in 2021 or 2017, right? That's all you have to do. Just look at it from 2 months ago. Then you'll realize, okay, all you have to do is stop panicking and just realize that we'll get through this. And there is one particular person that actually, I don't know who this person is, but he made this really good fractal pattern back. He made this call, I don't know how, right at top, like the day after the top when we hit $108,000. So he's been pretty dead accurate. So he's like wishful thinking at December 19th. And he's like, well, Bitcoin's probably going to retrace down, like touch upon like right around here, you know, maybe rally back up to 100,000, go back down, form a new low, and then starting from the new year, rally back up to 110 and then go beyond, right? This is what he said a day after the top. And now, you know, this is what it looks like. So this, and he even tweeted out, this is getting weird. This guy has been dead accurate with his pattern right now. So gotta give this guy some credit. But if his fractal pattern is dead accurate, that means tomorrow is the turnaround. Tomorrow, the last day of the month, or the day afterwards, whatever, January 1st, is the day we turn around and we start heading upwards, right? Which makes a lot of sense. Because once Wall Street is done with their selling, done with their, whatever, their rebalancing and their tax harvesting and whatever they need to sell off for 2024, that's it. There's no more sell pressure for Wall Street. And then we continue forward. I mean, actually makes a lot of sense. You don't even need a chart to tell you that. You just use logic. That's it. Okay, here we go. Some more patterns. If you look at what we're going through right now, very similar to last year too, even though last year wasn't the greatest year. But last year also, after October, we started rallying. And then we had a pretty good October, November, December. We actually did go down in December. And then we went down, and then we recovered back up, and we did a pretty darn good climb in the new year. So will we repeat? I don't know, but it's looking very similar. But again, when in doubt, zoom out. Like I showed you guys with this, there's plenty of drawdowns with every single cycle. And what ends up happening is every single cycle, you form new highs. Even with the drawdowns, even with the corrections, even with the nasty volatility, what ends up happening is Bitcoin moves forward, makes a new high, and no one remembers them. No one remembers the drawdowns or the corrections or the volatility. People just remember Bitcoin forming a new high and making a lot of people a lot of gains. That's it. Every single time. And where we are right now is right before we enter the most bullish phase for Bitcoin. As we enter 2025, we are literally days away from that. Days away. This is not the time to be feared out of the market. No. Nope. And also, outside of Bitcoin, right? This is also, if you're like holding a lot of crypto and you're holding a lot of vaults, this is also the time when the last year is when Bitcoin dominance actually starts going downwards too. So if you look at history and you look at, well, when does Bitcoin dominance start going down? When does altcoin dominance start going upwards, right? Well, it usually starts in the last year of the 4-year cycle. So you look at 2017, right? It was pretty dramatic that after 2017 started, which is the last year, after 2016 was the halving year, in 2017, even though Bitcoin did go up, but the dominance went down drastically because that's when Ethereum got hot and a lot of other crypto got hot, and that's when altcoin season truly happened, right? You look at 2021, also Bitcoin dominance fell down drastically, right? 2020 was the halving year. 2021 was the final year. Even though Bitcoin went up in 2021, Bitcoin dominance drastically dropped in 2021. So if we're we're going by history, right? Then you would figure, when does Bitcoin dominance drop? Well, you would figure sometime in 2025, you would see a drastic drop with Bitcoin dominance, right? If you're going by history. However, it doesn't always have to repeat. But I figure at some point in 2025, you will see a gradual or a steep drop in Bitcoin dominance. Although I will make this argument, Bitcoin right now, unlike previous cycles, is led by institutions, right? Bitcoin was not propped up and was not bought by institutions back in previous cycles. So this cycle could be a little bit different. We may not see that drastic drop off like before, right? Or if we do see a drop off, it will be maybe more towards the end of the year or a lot less steep, right? But regardless, I do think we are going to see resurgence with alts. It's not like we haven't seen it. This year, we saw brief stints of that earlier in March and April. We saw a little bit of that earlier in November and early December. So, of course, we will see them move once again, right? In 2025, we will see a lot more of them move. And case in point, if you look at 2024, we saw a lot of them move. But here's the thing. Almost all the main movers, they're all meme coins. Not all, but most of them are. The only ones that aren't, Virtuals is not a meme coin. Mantra and Aerodrome, they're not meme coins. But Brett, Popcat, Mog, Turbo, Fartcoin, A16, and Pepe, they're all meme coins, right? So we saw some tremendous gainers in 2024. And those are our top 10. Outside of top 10, we saw a lot of other gainers too, right? We saw XRP obviously making big moves. We saw like Cardano making big moves. We saw Sui making big moves. Maybe not in the thousands of percent, but we saw a lot of them make big moves. We saw Solana and a lot of them make big moves. We will see a lot more make big moves in 2025. And we'll probably see more meme coins make big moves in 2025 as well. There will always be more, right? So we will see more alts and memes come to life, and we'll see that true altcoin season that so many are looking forward to. That's coming up. That's coming up. And AI agents, you know, a lot of people talk about AI agents and AI meme coins and all that stuff, right? They will. There will be a lot more. Not to say that they're all good or bad. I haven't really been paying attention to a lot of them, but still, that's what retail wants, and that's part of crypto. And Virtuals have flipped renders, now a top 3 AI crypto by market cap. And I was mentioning that yesterday. I drew a blank with them. Yeah, AI is definitely going to be a big narrative in 2025. A lot of projects in AI, so you definitely don't want to miss out on them or the whole category. What else is there? Memes. I talked about memes. Here's another AI agent, and we'll skip that. Solana ETF. That's coming. ETFs are going to be big in 2025, of course. We got Sol ETF that's coming. XRP ETF that's coming. Possibly like Litecoin, a Hedera ETF. We got combo ETFs like Bitcoin and Ethereum combo ETFs coming. But we may have other combo ETFs coming. We're just going to have a lot. We're going to have a lot coming in ETF. And, of course, Grayscale, they're going to have more trust. And every time they come out with a trust, those coins or tokens tend to jump. And here's the latest. Hyperliquid, Virtua, Ethnia, and Jupiter for potential trust in Q1 of 2025. All right, guys. That is it. U.S. market is not looking good today. Minus 600, minus 300. Let's see. NVIDIA is actually up today, which is amazing. MicroStrategy not doing too good. Minus 5%. And Coinbase is minus 5%. Yeah. So Wall Street is still selling off today. Bitcoin 92. Solana's holding at 188. Like I said, some of these have bottomed out. Solana's holding right around there. Sui's holding around $4. XRP's holding about $2. You could see I kind of bottomed out. A lot of great opportunities right now. All right, let's do some Q&A. Robbie sent 2 big super chats about fighting IFC. Again, Robbie, unless you're a big influencer, not even big, unless you're an influencer or a project leader in crypto or someone known in the crypto space, I don't know if I give you a fight, man. Is MicroStrategy a good buy? Yes. Although I gotta say, like, I'm a little worried about Saylor's like ultra leverage strategy now with his shares. I know he was doing that already. Before he was like, you know, offering convertible bonds and stuff to, you know, to raise money to buy more Bitcoin. I realized he was doing that before. But, you know, before it was like not at the pace he is doing it now. He's just going like crazy now. He's raising so much money to buy so much Bitcoin now. It's kind of like at a degen rate. And he's doing so many interviews and you know, to try to convince people that he's right. And, you know, a lot of us Bitcoiners, of course, we showcase it. We love what he's doing. But, like, man, he's I mean, I don't know. The pace that he's doing it at is a little concerning, right? That's all. And as a MicroStrategy shareholder, I hope he doesn't dilute MicroStrategy shares so much that, you know, our shares get decimated, right? That's the thing. Like, that's the only thing I'm concerned about. Obviously, I believe in Bitcoin as much as he does. I think Bitcoin, because of scarcity factor, is going to keep on going up forever. But I just don't know. I'm not smart enough to figure out if the strategy of what he's doing with his shares is the correct one. Robbie, that's not how it works. You have to become one first. There's a lot, I mean, to be quite honest, there are a lot of people that can fight. A lot of people that are pro fighters that are asking me to fight in the IFC because they don't get a shot to fight anywhere else. They can't even, you know, they can't get a UFC contract. They can't fight in any other league, pro league or amateur league. So they think that they could just fight in the IFC. That's just not how it works. Is he the largest holder of Bitcoin? No, but he's getting pretty close. I mean, Satoshi is still number one, like 1.1 million Bitcoin, but he's like 400 something thousand. He's definitely one of the biggest, top 5, maybe even higher than that. James, I'm the founder of the IFC, the Influencer Fight Club, associated with Karate Combat. Karate Combat is like the 3rd largest professional fight league. I don't know if it's 3rd largest, but 3rd fastest growing, I believe. Besides, behind, I think, Bare Knuckle. I think it's UFC, obviously, I think. And then I think it's Bare Knuckle and then Karate Combat. But I think that's just fastest growing, but not in size. I think one championship is still bigger. Heisenberg, I think Saylor is buying too much and is spooking out other institutional investors. It may be. That could be correct, because if I'm having this kind of concern, others may be having the same. Like, he's going a little bit too much now, too fast. I think his path before was fine, but now it just seems like he's just like amplifying that by 10x. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe this is the right path. Maybe Bitcoin starts shooting up to like, 150,000. Then, this is seen again like a genius move. But like right now, all this accumulation within the last 2 months just seems like it's too fast, too much within such a short amount of time. Why does he have to announce every time he buys? I don't. Well, because he's trying to show, like, he's trying to lead the way. That's why. Yeah, Chris, I don't know. Maybe we're just not as smart as him. He hasn't always said and done the right things, right? Like when he's his he had to backtrack on his self-custody thing. He was basically saying that no one needed to do self-custody. We should all trust like centralized entities for self-custody because we don't have to worry about confiscation and all that stuff. He got a lot of backlash for that, and then he had to backtrack and say, well, no, everyone should have their own right to do self-custody and centralized custody and stuff. So, and then before, he also have said in the past, everyone should just borrow against their Bitcoin. Everyone should mortgage their house and go buy more Bitcoin. He has said silly things like that, and then he had to backtrack and say, no, that's not a good idea for everyone. So, yeah, he hasn't always said the perfect things at times. Papa Bear Studios, that was a liquidity grab. Check the heat map. All right, let's check the heat map. The liquidation heat map. They came on a Model 3. I don't like the Model 3. Yeah, this was again done to liquidate. This was done to liquidate the longs here. There was 21 million longs at 92.1, 18 million at 91.8, and then 12 million at 91.6, and that's about it. So this was the two biggest levels. Now we got 91.4, 91.1. It's probably going to stop. This was done, again, on purpose to wipe out these longs. Papa Bear Studios, you're right. On the flip side, you don't have a lot of huge levels or walls. You do have some here. It would not surprise me. Okay, we go and we settle right back up to 94 because it will wipe out the 93.7, 93.9, 94.2. It would not surprise me that these levels get wiped out and then we settle right around like 94.5-ish, or we touch upon 94.6, 7 with a quick bounce and then come right back. Like, I could see that happening. You tend to see market makers wipe out both the longs and shorts a lot, just like with quick bounces. What did I miss? No, I'm not going to check out the chart. No, I'm not going to check out TMA chart. What was your biggest lesson of 2024? I don't know. I don't know. 2024, we saw some new things, right? I guess if I had to pinpoint something is don't always rely on history repeats but doesn't tend to rhyme. So, and that could be good and bad. So obviously in the beginning of 2023, from the end of 2023 to beginning of 2024, we saw a tremendous rise. We broke through our previous high very early in 2024, right? Because of ETFs, we broke through $69 and we went to $70, $73 very early on in March. We got that crazy altcoin run, right? That was new. So I guess from my perspective, I should have known better and knew that, hey, we may have extended, let's say, consolidation, right? But I didn't know how long that would last. I didn't know how fast we were going to go, right? We went up crazily fast. So that basically from like that April timeframe all the way to like September, October. So basically for 6 months, we didn't see anything happen, really. We went sideways. The alts got weaker, right? I don't know. So I guess, that's a lesson. It's like sometimes you just don't know what may happen. Sometimes you get a good surprise. Like we broke through all-time high. We saw a lot of alts like come back crazy, and people are like thinking it's altcoin season. And then we get the unexpected, like another 6 months of nothingness, right? So sometimes we know something's going to happen, but it doesn't happen the same way. So I guess that's the biggest lesson. Everything else is the same. You hold on DCA as much as you can, and then you get rewarded, right? We knew Bitcoin was going to come back, and it did. We knew Bitcoin was going to go make a new high, and it did. Have a good end of the year. It did until the last 2 weeks. So from that perspective, everything was normal. Robbie, your third channel could be advertising some fighters. What third channel? You should take this offline, man. You're to be honest, this is kind of distracting now. If you want to talk more IFC, just, email me or something. Email or DM me on the IFC X. George, we all know your biggest lesson was playing the XRP video too much and peeps fought. Well, I guess there's that too. CZ says something about China about to make a move. He may be dumping BTC for China as part of the deal. No, CZ doesn't. He's not dumping. Here's the thing. Just look at this, okay? Here, I'll extend this. This is all you guys need to know. For Bitcoin, 24 hours maybe down 3%, right? What about the last week? Last week it's down 2%. Oops. Last 30 days, Okay, down 5%. But what about last 60 days? Up 30%. What about last 90 days? Up 47%. What about year to date? Up 116%, right? That's what you need to know. Even though you could argue the last 30 days, okay, maybe we came down a little bit from the last month, but we're up 116% year to date, and we're still up 30% from a couple months ago. And if you're complaining, well, XRP is down from $3 now, well, it's still up 300% from 60 days ago, right? And literally everything is still up. Even Solana, that's been pretty weak recently, still up 11% from 60 days ago. Doge is still up 87% from 60 days ago. Cardano is still up 140% from 60 days ago. I mean, Chainlink is up 72%. Sui's up 100%. Hedera's up 480% from 60 days ago. Even 30 days ago, it's up 60%. Right? Like Hyperliquid all of a sudden is here. They airdropped to a whole bunch of people, up 744% or 226%. Like literally people got free money. 8.9 billion out of nowhere. I don't even know how that works. But a lot of these. Okay. I mean, even Matic, Polygon is up 42% last 60 days. VeChain up 100%. Virtuals, which I've been talking about, up 100% last 30 days, 1,000 basic percent in 60 days. So again, putting things in perspective, there's like literally nothing that's not up in the last 60 days or 90 days or year to date. You're up triple digits. Jim Bean, I believe Hedera will be in a top 10 next year based on partnership potential, ETFs, tech, and being an American crypto. You know what? I've never been a big Hedera fan, but considering everything you said, it could. It could. And they're already sitting at number 16. So to be quite honest, moving 6 spots up isn't that far-fetched. Tron is at number 10 at 21 billion, so they just literally need to double to get around there. So even not at 10, let's say 11. Could they do it? Yeah, possibly. But you know, 10 and going from 10 to say 9 and then going to 8 is a huge jump. So even if they're not top 10, 11 or something, very doable. Around the outside, what's going on with Aragon? Aragon, I have no idea. No idea. All these guys that are trying to like shield Tima, you're just getting banned from the channel. Don't think that like no one's paying attention. I just got 60K wired headed my way. So I welcome the red. See, that's the thing. Most people, they don't like seeing red. Quite honestly, it's because they don't have the cash to buy, right? If you actually have cash on the side to buy, you would love seeing the red because that's how you profit. You buy low and sell high, right? So that's why I've said this before, and I know it's hard to do, but if you plan it out right, it's not that hard. But everyone should prep to have 20, 25, 30% cash at all times. So people always ask about like, well, how do I take profits on the way up? Just make sure you have 20, 25% cash at all times. So even when we start going upwards, if you notice your cash pile start shrinking, sell off some and make sure you have that cash pile. So that when we go down, you continue to DCA, or you can save that cash pile to buy on the way down, right? So I think the main difficulty is when we go down, we don't know how far we go down sometimes with these corrections. And if you buy too early, we go all in too early, then you run out of cash. So that at times could be difficult. But again, if you can keep that 20 to 25 or maybe even higher 30% cash, then you would really embrace these dips. But one of my strategies is as we go further in 2025 and as Bitcoin entire market gets higher and higher in price, I'm going to try to start increasing my cash pile more. So that's going to be my like new profit taking strategy. But I don't know when I'm going to start doing that. I don't know like at what level, but at some point I'm going to start doing that. Golden Sun, hello from A2 Michigan. Welcome. Steady Bug, my average is 37K. I'm good. I think you're good at 37K. George, do you think it's worth leveraging a loan considering Bitcoin's gains typically exceed interest? No, I still don't think so. Although a lot of people have thought that, I mean, even Saylor has thought that, like, hey, why not just like take a loan against your Bitcoin and like, or go, you know, go mortgage your house, get an equity loan or something. For prior it was cheap, right? Like 3%, 4%. Now it's a lot more, but why not go get a loan or something and buy Bitcoin with it? It's just, you don't want to do that. You don't want to risk it. You just don't know what may happen, right? People that did that right before crypto winter and right before Bitcoin went down 80%, I mean, they got absolutely wrecked. You don't want to put yourself at that risk. That's just leveraging too much. Too much. Are Sui and Say done for a bull run? I don't think you noticed how high Sui is. It's at number 15, man. It's still up 16% in the last 30 days, up 100% in 60 days. So no, Sui's not done. Say is different. Say they haven't had their run recently. They had a good run earlier this year in March, but recently they haven't. Anything in Cosmos ecosystem has not gotten any traction recently. But Sui has done really well. I mean, this is the reason why. In case you guys are wondering, oh, why is Bitcoin selling off more today? I mean, just look at the US market. Minus 700 today, minus 338 for NASDAQ. It's no doubt Wall Street is putting the pressure today. Wall Street last day or last 2 days is still selling off what they can to do whatever they're doing. again, a lot of these portfolio managers, hedge funds, they do what they do to offset their taxes for this year. Especially if they had a really good year, they have to sell off and do some tax harvesting so that they don't have to pay as much taxes, or they have to sell off and try to rebalance their portfolio for 2025. Quite honestly, I should have known this. I've seen this years ago. It actually always happens like every single year. But, you know, some years isn't as bad. But I think this year in particular was so good. 2024 was so good. That's why it's more drastic this year. In 2023, we had a little bit of this. But 2023, I remember, was still, the broader market in Bitcoin was still rallying in December. But maybe the last week wasn't. You know, I just don't remember. But generally speaking, every year this happens. So for sure, next year, I'm going to remember last 2 weeks. Last 2 weeks of 2025, no matter what, I'm going to remember that this may happen. As for reversals, it's going to happen. This guy, I'm just going to give this guy some credit because his thing has been pretty darn accurate. Let me bring this guy's chart up. This Nebraska guy. So he made this pattern like a couple weeks ago, right at top. So right when Bitcoin formed at 108,000, he made this pattern that it would retest 90 and quite possibly like high 80s before, like right around early 2025, it would come right back up to about 98, 99, and then in the new year, will, you know, form a new high again. And so far, it's been pretty darn accurate. Skipping stones. Not so much carnivore, but more like keto. Because I like eating like some veggies. Carnivore is too hard with no veggies. So I like eating some vegetables. And some like berries, some fruits. Adding some fruits in there. Can you still, last Edian, can you still make money with alts anymore? Looks like 2021 was the last good year. Keep in mind, and I just showed this, altcoin season, okay? Just look at this. A lot of people are not aware. Altcoin season doesn't start until the last year of the 4-year cycle. And usually doesn't start until more like the tail end. But if you look at this, this is a chart of Bitcoin dominance, okay? Bitcoin dominance didn't fall drastically until, you know, sometime like mid, a little bit past probably Q2 of 2021. You could see it. And then Bitcoin dominance didn't really fall until, you know what, somewhere mid or Q3 of 2017. So I've always said this. Altcoin season doesn't start until the tail end of the final year. Before then, you see like these mini jumps, mini altcoin season, like mini pumps, which we did see obviously this year. But true altcoin season doesn't start until the last year. It's always been like that. So Bitcoin dominance has been pretty darn flat going upwards, as you guys can see. This year, this cycle has been, Bitcoin has been led by institutions. Now, I think institutions and countries will continue to buy up Bitcoin. So Bitcoin dominance could continue to rise. But I still think a lot of money will be flowing to alts in 2025. I think retail will probably FOMO into a lot more memes, and the money from memes will go into alts. You know, that's going to be how it's going to be done. Rather than like Bitcoin money going to alts, it's going to be like meme money going to alts. Speaking of MicroStrategy, in case you guys didn't know, Saylor bought more Bitcoin. He continues to buy more and more, which I'm assuming by selling more shares, which is not helping right now as Wall Street is selling off more. However, he is increasing his Bitcoin holdings by a lot. So 446,000 Bitcoin. His recent purchase at 97,837. His recent purchases have increased his average price up tremendously, 62,428. But still, his unrealized gains is still billions upon billions upon billions. So he's not hurting by any means. Look at Peter Schiff's, his reaction to his tweet to Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff always likes to troll Saylor. The Peter Schiff. Once again, you announced a smaller buy at an average price that's above the current price. You're no longer buying enough Bitcoin to keep the price rising. I don't think Saylor Buys. See, here's the thing. Saylor Buys OTC. Even with his huge buys, they don't move the market. His last buy was like, was it 600 million or something? Or no, it was in the billions. It was over $1 billion, and it didn't pump Bitcoin at all because they're all OTC. None of his buys pump Bitcoin. That just, it doesn't. It doesn't. It goes to show you that in order to actually move Bitcoin, it takes a hell of a lot. But I mean, anyways, it doesn't matter. If Saylor bought 209 million on spot Bitcoin, it would move the needle a lot. But he's not going to do that. But I've always argued, you know, in crypto winter, especially, I argued this. If you wanted to really help the price, you should just place the order on spot Bitcoin. I mean, on Coinbase. I don't think Coinbase will let him. If he like told Coinbase, hey, instead of buying OTC, I want to buy 209 million on spot, and I don't care what it does to the price. I just want the price to go up. I don't even know if Coinbase will allow him to do that. But if he really wanted to move the needle, he could. That 209 million will move the needle for sure. But regardless if he buys 209 million or $1 billion or 2 billion OTC, it's not going to move the needle, not immediately. Long term, it will. It just removes more Bitcoin from circulation. And there's only so much to go around. Eventually, there's not going to be enough to be sold, right? The OTC market will dry up, and then, you know what? It's going to have a cumulative effect. But short term, buying OTC never moves the market. But Peter Schiff, he's always going to be trolling no matter what. As Bitcoin's price goes higher, he's going to continue to troll. I don't know. Peter Schiff may be holding billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin at this point, but he'll never admit it. He'll never admit it. Why Michael Saylor keeps posting they buy at higher price? Well, he can't lie about it. If he bought at a higher price, he has to post it. He can't all of a sudden not post what he bought at, right? He has been doing that forever, even in crypto winter. And he gets laughed at. You know, that's why it's a running joke that he even says himself that he always buys at tops. He even says that. In crypto winter, it looked really stupid. Every time he bought, it was at a top. And Bitcoin go down. For a long time, that wasn't the case anymore. Like every time he bought, Bitcoin continued to go up. But now, the last few weeks, every time he bought, it went the opposite way again. But it doesn't matter. I think he knows. Next year, Bitcoin will break out of this current funk and continue higher. So none of this really matters. My concern with Saylor right now is how much he's leveraging MicroStrategy, right? I showed you guys the clip where he talks about where he just puts down Bitcoin as collateral. He gave an example where he sold $1.5 billion worth of shares. He put down 500 million of Bitcoin in collateral. And then he took that $1.5 billion that he collected and he bought $1.5 billion of the Bitcoin. So in essence, he gained $1 billion of the Bitcoin. And then what he's going to do with that, he's going to issue more shares to sell using that $1.5 billion of Bitcoin as collateral. And then rinse and repeat. He's going to keep doing that. He's going to keep putting more Bitcoin as collateral, keep selling more shares, and he's going to keep issuing more shares, diluting more shares, buying more Bitcoin, and keep going, right? It's just, I don't know. That seems to be too aggressive at this point. He says he could do that infinitely forever, which is true. He could do that forever, but hopefully, you know, hopefully that doesn't destroy MicroStrategy's shares. Yeah, and that would only work if Bitcoin continues to hold its value and keep going up. If it was any other asset, I don't think it would work. All right, guys. Stay strong, my friends. Today, not looking so good. The broader market is selling off, extending into Bitcoin and crypto, right? But know that, hey, we will get through this, okay? We got a few more days of this. Market could turn around very, very quickly. We had a few weeks of red, but let's not forget the months of green. In fact, you could say the entire year of green, right? Let's not forget that. And we still have a full year to look forward to. All right? So, I'll see you guys tonight. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll see you guys later. Take care.